Alright. Let that shut off. Got my stain stuff in there. Still gotta get some stuff out of the way. So you're from New Jersey, where everything's legal.
Yep.
And that's fairly recent.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I feel like it's been a while.
Well, New York's very recent.
Yeah, New Jersey I think it's been a longer.
Few years.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I grew up, where I live at home is down the shore, and so we have like a farmer's market, and they for like.
Grew up
I'm trying
on
to
Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Seriously.
did.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm like trying to think of, we used to always go to the farmer's market, and there was just one person who had like the best like tent, like they had a bunch of edibles, things like that, and like, but I feel like we've been going there for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also could just be wrong.
Well, in Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
okay, back in 2018, I really got kind of involved in all this,
Okay.
understanding what was going on. And I seen real quick what was happening. So the hemp industry come in, we got federally legalized, and that created the hemp industry. Well, immediately Kentucky came in, which we should be the #1 agricultural state.
That's true.
In the world.
Yeah.
Place in the world. And we banned the flower to our own people, which it was a overall ban.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, we've got people running for agricultural commissioner that can't understand why the industry isn't flourishing.
It just,
He was a hemp farmer. He knows. So it's all political. But as far as why I got in it, 2018, when we started selling full spectrum CBD, I seen right then, I have a legal way to sell you Delta-9 THC, which at that time I thought was the most beneficial cannabinoid, which it's got a lot of benefits, but that's what we seen in that little bit of THC, and it was just that opening. Well, so we started selling the full spectrum CBD, and as the industry's grown, say 2019, we know 420 is a national holiday, stoner holiday. So on 4/19, 2019, Kentucky Department of Agriculture issued a blanket statement to all processors and growers that if they're making, producing, or selling Delta-8 THC products, that they're considered a criminal, they're going to lose their license, they're going to go to jail. And I mean, we've got all this on record. So that was another time the agricultural department kneecapped the hemp industry in Kentucky. So that's
interesting.
what we're getting up to. So now we're actually selling full-blown THC, and we can't get it reported that this is still THC. So you asked the difference, and we'll get into this on camera when you want, about Delta-8 and Delta-9.
Okay.
Delta-8 is made, and it was reported that Delta-8 is made by adding battery acid to pool cleaner. That's what a representative said. That's how Delta-8 THC is made. Well, what's actually happening is Delta-8 THC is converted by adding an organic acid heat. And an organic acid can be something as simple as sugar or salt. So you convert CBD isolate into THC Delta-8 by going like that. Delta-9 is the THC we've always known and loved, right down to the molecular level. That is the THC that's restricted by law. And in Kentucky, well, federally, you have to comply with a 0.03% or less THC by weight. Now what we figured out, not we, basically scientists and lawyers, figured out is how to put a certain amount of THC into different edibles and get them strong enough to be potent. So we're actually selling potent THC edibles. The difference is it's all hemp derived, which makes it federally legal. And Kentucky right now is starting to restrict this. These restrictions aren't all bad. Some of these are common sense restrictions, and they're neat packaging. You don't want kids having the option to buy gummy bears. I mean, you look at it, you don't want a kid to say, that's what I want. Yeah, so that's a responsible thing. Packaging, labeling, very, very crucial. That's one thing we're very adamant about here, is making sure products are labeled correctly, and we actually test the potencies ourselves. It's a great side gig. But we make sure
That's right.
everything is consistent, because if you get one product that just blows you out of the water and you expect that out of the next product and you don't get it, something's off.
Yeah.
You got to make sure these are actually what they're supposed to be. So in our line, that's what we make sure of, is consistency too. So CBD is the anti-inflammatory part, THC is the euphoric pain relieving part. And combined, that's where we get the most use. And that's what Kentucky needs to understand, is we've got a lot of these here while we're fighting for medical marijuana, which we just passed. But we also just passed the most restrictive marijuana bill in the United States. At the same time as we passed a marijuana DUI bill. We have to understand this state is still building prisons. And we profit off of those prisons, and we have to fill those prisons. We have to be on top of the laws that are changing in front of us right now. So
That was good. Okay.
that was just you. You
Yes,
can pick
that was
any
good.
part of that you want.
All right.
And you just take a second. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Okay.
Calm my ass back down. And take my CBD.
There you go.
Because I truly was not expecting an interview today. Did you happen to call yesterday?
I didn't know.
Okay. Because I was building a horse and I just refused to answer my phone all day.
Really?
Yes. And the first time I picked up the phone this morning, it was you, and I thought, oh my God, have I been dodging you?
No, you're good.
Is that out of sight?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so you're gonna have to lead me like a little bull.
I'm just gonna ask like simple questions that like somebody who knows nothing would ask.
Absolutely.
So.
Just do your best in editing it. Make
Oh,
sure.
don't worry. I'll make sure it looks good. Okay. So you could look at me. Start by saying spelling, first and last name, and position, so that if anybody uses this, it doesn't get messed up.
My name is Robert Matheny. ROBERT MATHENY. I own and operate Kentucky CBD Pharmacy with Rachel Osland, RACHAELOSLAND,
Awesome. So, I mean, let's just start off with
KYCBDFARMACY.
Perfect.
Just making sure.
No, you're good. Let's start off with the House bill itself. I mean, tell me a little bit about it. What's in it? When you guys first saw it, what were your thoughts?
The actual House bill
House bill,
restricting?
yes.
Okay. So
Is it 5-4? I'm
gonna get that messed up with a charity, so I ain't even gonna say, I wanna say 514 and then say C for some reason.
I have it right here somewhere. 544.
544, House Bill 544.
Okay. So let's just talk about that.
Okay,
Go into that.
I'll give you what you want, slip a little what I want in here.
Okay.
So, okay, you can see me, I'm on
You're
camera,
good.
all that good?
Yep.
Okay. So, House Bill, what is it?
544.
House Bill 544. Let me get that right.
You don't have to say it either.
Oh, I just wanted to
can
make
say
sure if I did, it
No.
popped out right. Okay, so I'm Robert Matheny. I own Kentucky CBD Pharmacy. As far as the restrictions that have just been passed on House Bill 44, they're not all bad. Some of these restrictions are beneficial to Kentuckians. They're a lot of common sense restrictions. Keep in mind they are restrictions, however. So some of them are, you have to be 21. So if you don't look 21, you're getting carded. You were getting carded anyway by any responsible retailer. That's a fact. There's another thing. If you order online from KentuckyCBDPharmacy.com, you now have to have somebody at the home over 21 to sign for the package. That's a big one. That's a big change. That's something that most of our clients aren't going to have to really worry about, because a lot of ours are paying patients and they're home a lot. But if this does affect you and you order for convenience, we'll have to set up a different pickup time or something, because there are going to be restrictions that have to be maintained through all good retailers. So that's really important to be on top of that. If you need your THC products, you can't just order them now. You actually have to get a little ahead of it and make sure either somebody's home or you have to plan to come get them in store yourself and show ID. Let's see. That's the two major restrictions in it. And again, the restrictions are not all bad. Restrictions are needed in this industry. We don't want THC products being advertised for children. I mean, straight out. These are a over 21 product, and that's what we need to market for. We at Kentucky CBD Pharmacy lean more towards the medical side of it. We're here to help people out of pain with bad anxiety rather than just get you high. Anybody can get you high. Currently, you can go to any gas station in Kentucky, buy THC, and get high. That's not what cannabis is about. That's not what hemp is about. That's not what medical marijuana is about. Cannabis is about feeling better. And that's our specialty, is learning this plant, knowing how to use it effectively for very specific things. You can go buy THC at a gas station. You can go buy CBD at the dollar store. If you don't know what you're using, you're not going to get the right effects out of it, and that's with anything you buy. So that's what we've spent all these years studying and learning and helping people with, and some of the things we've seen are absolutely miraculous. So, anything else?
That was good. So these technically went into effect August 1st. So what has changed for you guys? Has anything changed, I mean, specifically for your business or for the store?
As far as what's changed immediately, everything I've already mentioned as far as the shipping and the carding, making sure you're 21 and over, and the packaging and the labeling, which is all good, responsible stuff. The other part of it is on our display, on our counter, there's no longer CBD or THC products available. If you was to run in and grab them, you can't just come in and swipe them off the countertop. They're behind glass. They're not accessible to people just wandering around that might just grab and go, or children that might happen to swipe their hand across, which shouldn't be in here in the first place, or any other establishment. So that's really about the only thing visibly that's going to change. Again, our product line, we don't have the gummy bears, and we don't have the kid-looking packaging. That's irresponsible. We have the adult-looking packaging for cannabis products because that's what we're selling. It also keeps out the kids, so that helps also.
And so what's the difference between, let's say, something that's on the floor that you can see versus something that's behind the counter? Is there
Now?
Yeah.
Well,
So like what's going to be behind the glass? Why is that behind the glass? Is there
all the stuff, okay. So as far as the restrictions that just went in, either the CBD products or the THC products cannot be displayed on top of the counters. So like, for instance, these cannot be displayed out. We're starting that over. That ain't my product. That did not fly. Okay. So as far as, for instance, the packaging and, okay.
You're good.
As far as the restrictions that just went in, these products can't sit up on the counter for them to be grabbed anymore. They can't just be displayed there. They have to be behind glass. That way we have to hand them to the people. That's just another small restriction, which again, that's not a big one. Putting something behind glass is not a big deal for any retailer. Most generally, it's going to be behind glass anyway because of theft reasons. So a lot of these restrictions, again, are not bad. We just got to make sure they don't slip any other restrictions into it as we're watching.
Gotcha. And so, go ahead.
Another thing is we also have to make sure that certificate of analysis is available. Let me start that over because I didn't pronounce it right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grab one. Just so it's available. Bam. Okay. Can I focus?
Yep, you're good.
Does it sound good? Okay.
Perfect.
Another of the restrictions that just went into effect is making sure that all products that you have also have a certificate of analysis on the package or available in the store. It's very important to know that the products you have are third-party tested. And a lot of places won't have them on the packaging itself because a lot of them are small places. But they do have these certificates available. Just ask them. If they don't have it, don't buy it. Straight out. These certificates of analysis are not just regulated for the state, It's regulated for your safety to make sure it doesn't have metals in it. Hemp, cannabis, marijuana, it's all a cleaner plant. So we gotta make sure anything that's draws out of the ground is not getting consumed. So that's one of the very important parts of a COA. And it's not just to make sure the potency is right, which is another big part of it, to make sure the milligrams are correct, but it's also to make sure that you're also eating or inhaling or consuming a clean product.
So every product should have one of those?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every product that's available for sale retail will have a COA attached somewhere.
Okay. And can you show me, I'm gonna zoom in on it if you could.
That's the product, ingredient list, and then we go right to the COA.
Perfect. Thank you. And then, so now let's go into, if you could you explained this already to me off camera, but if you could explain
I'll screw it
the
up on
differences.
camera.
I know, that's how it always happens. If you could explain the differences, I mean, let's start with Delta 8 because that's what the regulations are going for. So can we talk about that and just kind of explain all the different things that you guys have?
So let me move a couple things around.
You're good.
Oh my goodness. This is our sample bar.
Oh, you're fine.
So if you ever happen to have any pain, anxiety, anything like that, stop by. We're actually, right now, within the last few months, we've gotten our products into several pain management clinics around Kentucky.
Wow.
And this guy, he's a world-renowned anesthesiologist, so he's not just some little screw-around doctor. And one of his pain patients was at the end of pharmaceutical therapy, couldn't do anything else for him. And that guy asked, can he try our product? We knocked him off 10 of his 11 medications. He's almost off the 11th one with just legal hemp products.
That's awesome.
And it got this doctor's attention.
Yeah.
So he sent somebody else and got the same result.
That's crazy.
So then the doctor called us.
And they were like, wait a second.
You gotta show me
How about
what
that?
you're
Yeah.
doing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's honest to God, full circle, something I have wanted to see from the get-go. Because 5 years ago, no, I lied to you. No, I didn't. 5 years ago, I was arrested.
Oh, wow.
For cultivation of marijuana.
Well, like
County,
5
Kentucky.
years ago, I guess.
5 years ago, I was arrested for cultivation of marijuana. Now, here's the thing. I had signed up and paid my fee to run for office for city council in Gary County. As soon as I left, and of course, we went over everything in the books there. I qualified. As soon as I left, made it to Nicholasville, I got a call, I didn't qualify. I expected that. I was a known marijuana activist, and I was there to change laws, and they knew this.
Yeah.
Well,
They don't let
stuff went down. I'm known anyway, it goes. Well, very shortly after that, I had about 6 cops show up at my house, guns drawn, cops I knew, literally put a gun in my face, come in, raided my house. Now keep in mind, Rachel survived a catastrophic accident in 2015.
Oh, wow.
Half her body's metal. She was crushed.
Oh my gosh.
She lost her daughter, she lost her son, she lost her fiance in this wreck. So, I mean, she's still recovering years later. And they took her to jail with me. She slept on concrete that night. I slept on concrete that night. They stole her car. They charged me with felony cultivation of marijuana. I had nothing growing. It was zero, nothing, completely made up. I got that is what fueled me to start this business, because it was used against me. Cannabis was used against me, and I'm trying to help my mother. I was trying to help a friend, and at the time I wasn't growing anything. But that doesn't change any part of the fact that they lied to use it against me. And this was people that are here to protect us that did that. So that's some pretty bad PTSD associated.
Yeah.
So starting this business, the first 3 years I walked into this door, every time I drive up, I would look down the road to see if there were cops waiting here.
Really?
In jail, because I'm selling THC. I spent a night in jail for that. And now I started an LLC in Kentucky's first dispensary right in the middle of central Kentucky. So that's cool.
Doing pretty well.
I enjoyed that. Okay. You want Delta 8 THC? I'll show you a couple of those.
Yeah.
Capsules. Syrup. And I'll tell you, personally, I am a canna man.
Mm-hmm.
I've studied every cannabis thing I could think to study. I don't like Delta 8. I have anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And I could show you stuff that if you put on the news, you could change the whole state, no joke. When medical marijuana, we'll get that on.
Okay, you're good.
I got my stuff there. I think it's all unedited.
Okay.
It shows my goodies. So, would it be easier if I set them up here?
Yeah, if you could, so then I'll be able to see them.
Lose the prices because they need to come on. Sorry. They price the shit out of these things.
Really? It's fine, I won't zoom in on the ones with prices. That makes it easier.
$1,000. This is $250, Delta 8, CBN. This is, you can notice my hands are so shaky that CBD is not kicked in yet. $750. This is a Delta 9. We're getting there.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, my butters. I'm not gonna hold these up. There. Now we're just gonna go right on. We're just gonna go with that. Because we don't need all of it.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I think you got visibility.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
No, it looks good.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta get the sinusy stuff up.
You're fine.
Okay.
When you're ready.
As far as what we have available in Kentucky currently, as far as THC products, we've got Delta 8 THC, Delta 9 THC, and several other versions of THC, which I do not carry here. I carry Delta 8, I carry Delta 9. Delta 8 THC has been described as being made by battery acid and pool cleaner, when in actuality, that representative meant that Delta 8 is made by converting CBD isolate into Delta 8 THC. You do that by adding an organic acid such as sugar or salt and heat, and over time it creates Delta 8 THC. Delta 9 THC is the regular THC we've known and loved our whole lives, and in Kentucky it is still legal. It has to be by weight. Now when you hear the word by weight, that takes a little away from it. When you hear hemp derived, that takes a little away from it. Make very clear, this is the exact same molecule that is restricted as medical marijuana. Delta 9 THC is Delta 9 THC. It's the same THC we've always known. So that's the two that are most known. Now, Delta 8 THC, if you have anxiety issues, you're probably going to want to avoid Delta 8 because it can ping your anxieties. It has been shown to be great for sleep. It's been shown to be great for pain, but that's in some cases. Most cases, if you have anxiety, that's one to avoid. Same thing with Delta 9 THC. When you hit the right milligram amount, you're going to have anxiety. So that's kind of the problem with the medical marijuana program that's just been passed. Now, the medical marijuana program is good because it gives people that good feeling for medical marijuana access. But what that does is gives people the thought, okay, I can just go buy THC and this is what I'll use. That's not how it's done. When THC is used as medicine in Colorado and California, which are decades in front of Kentucky, it's used in unison with CBD because THC is known to help the pain, But in order to help the pain, the CBD helps keep you coherent. So when you need higher doses of THC, in order to maintain your mental function, you have to take CBD. CBD has its own functions as well. Now, if you go to a doctor currently, they're not just going to give you a pain pill and let you walk out. They used to, but they're not anymore. A responsible doctor is going to give you an anti-inflammatory for whatever's causing the pain and something for the pain. Same thing with cannabis products. Whole plant medicine means you're taking CBD, which is the anti-inflammatory, and THC, which is for the pain relief, and using them in the right ratios is how you get the best effect. This is going to become part of the law in Kentucky in the future. We have to be able to figure out how to get CBD products in unison with marijuana products to consumers, because we in Kentucky have muddied our medical marijuana program down to smokable flower. There's a lot of misinformation within our state house as far as what these products are, how they're made, how they're used, and what their uses actually are. And I would take an opportunity to sit and speak with each representative and show them my product line and show them people I help daily. Our consumers are not kids. We don't invite kids in here. Our consumers are Kentuckians that are 40 to 80 years old that are not wanting pain pills. They don't want to become addicted. And that's what we're currently doing with the legal products we have. So we have to make sure we don't restrict those out of Kentuckians' hands, because these are changing lives.
And so I guess just.
Damn, that was good.
That was good. So what does that mean? I mean, just for you guys as a business now, I mean, with these restrictions, what is that going to mean for you, for an everyday business owner?
As far as these restrictions right now and what they mean for us, it really doesn't change a whole lot here at Kentucky CBD Pharmacy, because our stuff was already behind glass. We're already carding people, and we were very particular about our labeling requirements and our COAs from the very beginning, mainly to cover our butt, because we're still a Kentucky for-profit prison state. So we gotta look out for that. We want to make sure we do not become a statistic. We want to make sure that we are Kentucky's responsible cannabis retailer, and they know it. And that's what we work for the whole time. Every day we get to see people come in here, truck drivers, pastors, people running $1 million companies. That's our clients. And our clients are still afraid of the stigma of this plant and associating it with themselves. And people have to understand, the only way we're ever going to break the stigma around this plant is to stand up here and do what I do every day and tell people it helps.
That's perfect. Anything else you want to add?
No, if I say any more, I'm going to fuck it up.
Hey, that was so good. So that was awesome.
Awesome.
I'm just going to get some more video of products.
Absolutely. Now, you are a cannabis consumer no matter what you say. So, what's your potency levels? Ooh, no, I gotta show you one more thing. You get me on camera again.
Okay. It just clicked. You were like,
I'm gonna get some shit. I'll show you. I can't touch that chocolate too much. My damn hands are sweaty.
it's okay.
I turned the air off and complained it got hot. That's a 1-to-1, a 10-to-1, where's my 3-to-1? There we go. 3-to-1. 3-to-1, 1-to-1. We're still in a good area here. I'm going to show you some stages. And this is the part that could change people's lives in Kentucky.
Okay.
I'm not saying that to sell my product.
No,
They don't know how to use it. The governor's going to tell them to go get THC, and I know this person. I watched my mom starve to death. That's the other reason I was studying pot in the first place. It wasn't hemp, I was studying pot. But I watched my mom starve to death because she's afraid she'd lose her medication. She's afraid she'd lose her doctor. She's afraid she'd lose her insurance. She had no legitimate reason to be afraid. Her doctor done said do it. The insurance ain't gonna ask. But again, the fear is there because that generation had it beat into their head. Marijuana is a bad thing.
Mhm.
So I watched my mama starve. But she was prescribed Marinol before that, which is the pharmaceutical version of THC. And it's supposed to be synthetic, but I'll tell you, I've tested that too. Synthetic doesn't taste like weed. It tastes like weed. So it is still THC. Wherever it came from, wherever they say it came from, Marinol is synthetic THC, and it's in 5 milligram pills. Keep that in mind for the rest of this conversation. Marinol, prescription marijuana, is 5 milligram pills, 5 milligram THC. So, when she tried one, it worked. Next day she tried one, and it sent her so far into space she couldn't function. And that, when you have somebody that is in severe pain, and that's not what they're looking for, they will never eat that again.
No.
So by over-medicating herself accidentally, she cost herself the ability to utilize this medicine. And if people don't understand that, that's what we're going to have happen a whole lot in Kentucky. So when you hear hypermesis, which is the puking syndrome associated with marijuana, that's BS. It is real, don't take that wrong, your body is rejecting the THC. But keep in mind, it's done with high extract THC concentrates. So when you use whole plant medicine, it contains CBD. That evens it out. Your body doesn't reject that. Homeostasis, whole plant medicine. This is all science. They're making it propaganda though. So it's very important that people understand how all this stuff works. So now, moving back into how to use the different stages of THC, because you're going to have people just beginning THC, and then what we would all know as the old stoners. I think everybody knows one. Cheek and Chong, for example. So, if you're a beginner, you're a pain patient, you're going to try THC, you don't go just for a THC. What you would do is you would immediately start out with a ratio of CBD to THC. Now, this one here has 7.5 milligrams of delta-9 THC and 75 milligrams CBD. Keep in mind, I just said this gummy is stronger than prescription marijuana. 7.5 THC versus 5 for the Marinol with 75 CBD. Now that amount of CBD in this prevents the paranoia that comes with THC. So when you've heard of these people, well, I smoked a joint and I didn't have a good night at all and I didn't try it again for 20 years. That's how you avoid that, is by adding a ratio of CBD. Now that's a 10-to-1 product. That's a very high ratio of CBD. So it's still euphoric. You will still get a buzz off of it, but it's more of a controllable buzz. And if you're still a beginner, I would still suggest starting at a half of one of those gummies. You don't just jump into 7.5 milligrams THC without knowing it. Doctors cannot tell you this. Not in Kentucky anyway. Eventually, they'll make a degree that'll make me sound like an idiot, but for now, I'm the guy telling people this. So, if the 10-to-1 is working for you, but you need something to hit the pain more, this is actually for pain people. We're not just looking for the buzz, because a lot of people do, but we're talking very specific for pain. That's where you increase your THC. Because once you hit a certain amount of CBD, you're only going to knock down so much inflammation. At that point, you're knocking down pain. That's when you increase your THC. So rather than a 10-to-1, you would go up to a possibly 3-to-1. That's a 3-to-1. So this gummy here has 10 milligrams THC, and it has 20 milligrams CBD. So the CBD in that drops significantly, making that much more euphoric and also helping pain that much more. Now, by reducing the CBD is what makes the THC more euphoric. So, as you increase the THC, by decreasing the CBD, you will get more euphoria. So as we go up in strength, that's different. This one here, same thing you get in dispensaries. This here is a 1-to-1 product. That means it's got equal parts, THC and CBD. Equal parts is what they usually use in California and Colorado as medicine. It's a 1-to-1. That's the one that's still very potent. Please keep that in mind. These are very potent. But they're very effective for pain. and they taste great too. They're not marketed for kids. You can see that doesn't look like it is a child's candy bar. It's very important. Then you go up to the only THC. Now there is no ratio to that. It is only THC. Every one of those is 30 milligrams of THC with no CBD to buffer it. So if you're a new THC consumer and you go to these first, you're going to have a very bad day. And you're going to have one of those stories that say, I had bad paranoia and I was counting my heartbeats and I was making sure I was breathing and all that stuff. Now, if you, a loved one, or for God's sake, some kid accidentally gets into your medicine, somehow you've been able to let that happen, you have to know how to counteract it. So, today, everybody knows what Narcan is, right? Opioid epidemic in Kentucky is pretty important. Everybody has Narcan. I ain't even gonna say that's important in Kentucky because Kentucky's got a bad problem. So, let's get to the cannabis side of it. Everybody's scared of cannabis. First off, nobody has died from cannabis ever in the history of the plant. That's pretty important to know. You're not going to be that statistic. The other part of it is, shit, I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, you're fine. It's counteract.
Oh, counteracting. As far as if you or a loved one happens to get into the THC and you've overconsumed THC, you're not going to be that statistic and die. It's not going to happen. It's never happened with cannabis. What is going to happen is you're going to have a very uncomfortable time. You're going to have paranoia, you're going to rapid heartbeat, all that stuff. Start over.
Dude.
Yep, you've seen it. You've seen it with the hell.
It's not live, so it's fine.
The live one really had a rough time with it.
Oh, please, you're fine.
Okay, if you were a loved one, I'm going to start over, that was a bit car salesman. If you or a loved one happens to consume too much THC and you become uncomfortable, you have to know how to deal with it the same way the opioid epidemic is being dealt with the Narcan. CBD can help counteract the psychoactive effects of the THC. So if you're in an uncomfortable position and you've overconsumed and you're just not enjoying your night, get CBD. It'll help take it out of your head. Your body will still have the full effect, but it'll help knock the anxiety that's associated with THC down. That's how you use it as medicine. That way people can slowly take their doses up as needed and adjust as needed effectively.
It's really interesting. That's good. Anything else?
I don't know.
I think that was
way
good.
more than I'll ever put up.
No, but I mean it's interesting because I don't know that. Like an average person, whether you smoke or don't, or whether you take anything, it's just things you wouldn't know unless somebody explained it to you.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not out there. The information.
I studied this shit for 20 plus years, no joke. I was cultivating it, and like Marijuana Growers Handbook, you can make the plant do anything in the world. They're beautiful.
That's just so great. I don't know. It's so interesting.
In itself. But I'm telling you, whenever I got into this side of it, the CBD side, the things I have seen, everything you've seen on Facebook, everything. The Parkinson's guy shaking and just does that shit. I had a lady do that in front of her pharmacist. That's right.
Awesome. That's nice to see.
In front of her pharmacist, and I told him to wait and watch because I knew what I was getting ready to do.
Wait a second.
There was another time, I know you've seen two little old ladies walking around cutting up, just bullshitting, 80 years old, barely moving. Well, this one, she was bent over in a 90-degree angle. She had her cane, and she was one of them. She was one of them. And first I loved it because they was cutting up, and it reminded me of my mom. So I was eating that up. And you got anything to help my back? And I gave her one of her little cream samples. I said, here, you can take this with you. She said, I'm going to try it right now. I was a single guy in here by myself with two little old ladies, and she went yanking, ripped her shirt up. I immediately turned around. Her friend started rubbing it on her back, and after they was done, I turned back around. And I'm not kidding, within a minute, that little old lady ratcheted up one. Wow. And her friend, at this point, I thought it was starting bullshit. I really did.
They were making
I thought I was on a skid or something.
That's awesome.
And she's like, now don't do that. You just stay there. It doesn't work that fast. And then a couple seconds later, she ratcheted up again. She did this over the course of the next 1 minute until she was standing fully erect.
That's awesome.
And again, I thought this is complete bullshit. They are screwing with me. She said, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't walk. Don't do it. And I paid the insurance. I didn't want her to.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't.
When she took a couple steps, she still had to counter. And when she took a couple steps, and again, I thought they were screwing with me, her friend started crying. And I mean, it completely came over me like, oh my God.
Oh my God, that
Yeah,
seriously happened.
this is real. Yeah.
That's crazy.
All the time we get to see this stuff. And I mean, Rachel, we had no
Oh, so
idea.
yeah.
We tested all this on her. And again, I honestly thought him was bullshit. I thought it was appeasement for legalization. They'll get
Yeah, they'll get that,
but
yeah.
they're trying to take that.
Mm-hmm.
But
There you go.
what we've seen it do to her, for her, is like
Awesome, yeah.
like
That's just crazy to me, like, seeing that or hearing that.
now, have you ever heard her story, know of her story at all?
No.
I wanna show you something.
Okay.
And I want to tell you this beforehand.
Mhm.
We didn't know what all this stuff was capable of. We honestly didn't know. And she was recovering, like I said, she's in a catastrophic accident.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically reattached her leg.
Oh my goodness.
And they had to take her calf muscle and split it around the front to where she'd have a little muscle on both sides. And then obvious skin grafts and all that stuff. And this was after recovery. She's still healing, and the doctors always give you Eucerin. That's the cream they give you, and it works. It's not bad stuff; it's good stuff. But she had forgot it that morning, and she's like, "I forgot my lotion," and she can't let her skin graft dry. I mean, that's essential. So we took our cream, the 500 milligram full spectrum. Like, here, just put this on. She rubbed it on her leg. And again, didn't think nothing about it.
Yeah, but you're just trying to.
Yeah, here's some lotion,
Easy,
whatever. And went by about 5 minutes. She looked at me. She said, "I feel my leg. I'm a guy. Don't think shit about that. Didn't mean nothing to me." So I kept on going, doing my own thing. And she stopped me a couple minutes later. She said, "No, I feel my leg." And she's got extreme nerve damage. I mean, just nerves go places nerves would never go on a normal person because of the accident. But show her your leg. This is her leg. You can walk right there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's the muscle that was cut.
That's so crazy.
Show the back.
Wow. Well, you're awesome.
Yeah, they reattached that.
I've got a metal rod here, all here, there, right there.
I mean, literally a violent. She's got more metal in her than anybody I know. But the amount of inflammation your body has to have with that much is insane.
That's just, I can't believe that.
But I gotta say, with medical marijuana coming and people, with medical marijuana coming to Kentucky in 2025, and people already able to go out of state and get it with doctor recommendation and under the executive order, we're increasing our pipe selection quite nicely. And we've got a great selection of dab reeds. These little things are just too damn cool.
Those are cool, I like those.
And that's the thing, people just don't know what they are. Our clientele isn't smoke shop.
No.
We don't have the smoke shop.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, because you see they have huge.
Yeah, glass wall. At first, I thought about doing that, but if I'd have done that, we'd have been out of business.
That's the thing. I think it's the look of that is what.
Turns people away.
It's because of the
Stigma.
stigma that's just around it.
Boom, that's it. I'm also a board member of the Kentucky Cannabis Freedom Coalition. So we're the ones trying for full decriminalization.
Okay.
So if you can give me a contact, I will let you know everything going on.
Okay.
That happens.
Yeah, that works.
I keep contact with my new people.
Okay.
All of them.
That's crazy though.
Yeah, they're dirty, man. Oh, check this out. Okay, you're gonna be covering all this. We've got elections coming up. We've got elections just passed. Cannabis 100% is politicized. This is a good one. You can dig as deep into this as you want. You can post any one of these online, anywhere you want. So currently, right now, Jonathan Shell is our agricultural commissioner runner-up. Whatever, I mean, he's the one poised to be agricultural commissioner now. He's also, Jonathan Shell is poised to become agricultural commissioner. He was a hemp farmer in 2018 also. Keep that in mind. He knows hemp based on solely that. Shell Farms farm hemp. They also have a medical marijuana contract that's federal. So they're also doing testing. So they have a leg up because he's got a little stance in Frankfurt as far as that goes. That's why they've got all the protected fields out there, the fences up, and the armed guards, because it is actual marijuana. Now keep in mind, I just said this man farms medical marijuana and hemp in Kentucky. He's also the Republican House floor leader in 2018. I fought with Kentucky Cannabis Freedom Coalition, Kentuckians for Medical Marijuana, Minorities for Medical Marijuana, the ACLU, the NAACP, all these people fought to get this through our House. We got all the way through the House in 2018. And the Republican House floor leader, Jonathan Shell, is the one who stopped the vote for medical marijuana. The man from Garrett was the one who stopped the vote for medical marijuana in 2018. And now he's running for agricultural commissioner. Also, here's a little tidbit. Part of my memory is due to cannabis. It's fantastic. Believe that. If you'll recall, several years ago, Mitch McConnell was getting harassed at a restaurant. And when he was getting kicked out or leaving the restaurant, one of the people that was with him was Jonathan Shell. Jonathan Shell is the person that is being groomed to take Mitch McConnell's spot. And as you know, Mitch McConnell has recently had an episode live on television. Now, I think we all know what that's probably from, but that being said, that put Mitch McConnell in the spot to become like Ginsburg. They're either going to have to prop him up to do his job, or they're going to have to usher in somebody new. Now, that puts a real problem in Kentucky politics because the guy groomed to take McConnell's spot has already accepted a position as Kentucky Commissioner of Agriculture, which is devastating for the hemp industry, in my opinion, by the way, or cannabis industry itself. But what that does is it puts some awkwardness in what's getting ready to happen, because somebody's going to end up having to fill Mitch's seat, like I said, if they prop him up. And theoretically, it should be Jonathan Shell, because he's the one that's supposed to be Mitch Jr., which, again, if we want McConnell out of office, people, for God's sake, vote about it. But that's what we're looking at in Kentucky politics right now, and a whole lot of it revolves around him. Another division in this, there's several divisions in the hemp industry, and you being from New Jersey, you'll understand what I'm getting ready to say. The divisions that have been created in the hemp industry itself in Kentucky. Medical marijuana activists were pitted against recreational activists. They were told that the recreational marijuana activists would make the medical marijuana activists not look legit. So that divided those. We've got a black-white divide. I don't know why. We have a black-white divide. There's no reason. All these groups need to join together. It's literally us against them currently.
That's interesting, huh?
Medical marijuana, the hemp and the cannabis. Cannabis is cannabis. Marijuana is a word that was created to describe cannabis. Hemp is a word created to describe cannabis. It's cannabis. It's all got the same exact molecule in it. Some have been bred to be stronger in one, some have been bred to be stronger in another, and we have tried to write it in law, a division between them. We're trying to regulate a plant that can grow in our backyard and help our economy and help our people. And our government is just trying to regulate it and make money off of it. Kentucky will never make money off medical marijuana. That is a fact. Everybody knows that, because you can't make money off of medical marijuana, right? What you can make money off of is adding regulations to every piece of that. If you create 1,000 regulations, you create 10 regulating agencies. You hire 200,000 people to work these regulating agencies. You get tax money from every one of those. That's the money they do make from medical marijuana. It's from jobs. It's not the right way to do it. Regulating this product is not the right way to do it. How about we put some of that effort into taking down these opioid companies rather than accepting that settlement check and divvying it up to the next little pharmaceutical place that wants to hand out pills to the recovering addicts? Doesn't make sense. We've got a good movement in Kentucky as far as sobriety. These, the Isaiah House, God bless them. All these recovery centers, they're great. The one problem that I have with all of them, and I've made it damn well known to every one of them, including the Isaiah House, is they're not utilizing cannabis. What they are doing is they're rebranding Suboxone and all these other pills and funneling it through there. And this is all insurance. It all comes right down to dollars and cents. I want to show you something here.
He just decided.
This is $800. This is literally what I'm fighting every day. So, Epidiolex is the pharmaceutical version of CBD. Just like we talk Marinol for THC, Epidiolex is the pharmaceutical version of CBD. I have a friend that has Dravet syndrome. She's actually one of the moms for Kentucky Institute of Medical Marijuana. So, great woman, love her to death. Beautiful kid. She has to have this medicine. She's on state insurance. This medicine, just so we're doing the math right, 100 milligram doses, 60 milliliters. That's 6,000 milligrams. This is the insurance price, cash price, I'm sorry, $1,001.43. Now what she told me she pays, or her insurance pays to the state for a 6,000 milligram bottle of Epidiolex is $1,900 for a 6,000 milligram bottle of CBD isolate. This is a 7,500 milligram bottle of CBD isolate for $75 retail. That should be legal. That's what I'm fighting, because nobody should have to have all them other, they shouldn't have to seek a diagnosis first off. And they shouldn't have to pay 1,000 times what the medicine costs. It doesn't make sense. But that's literally why we're here, is because I've seen all this stuff. I've seen my mom starve to death. I've seen people suffer. I've seen how it's used against people. And trust me, that was a $20,000 lesson that some bitch cost. Yeah, impounded her car, stole our money, stole our guns. I had to get my gun back. Got in a locked safe for them. I'm telling you, if you go on these auction sites, each of these little county sheriff auction sites, it's scary. And that's part of Kentucky's revenue. And the bad thing is, I had the experience to know that firsthand.
I know, that's it.
Like, I'd have never believed it. Never in my life would I believe that.
That's so crazy.
I know, I've talked to you all.
No,
You've
you're
got
fine.
weeks of coverage now.
I know, right? Just do a different story every time.
You could. This
No.
guy's got so
I
much to
appreciate
say.
Hey, at least it's not, at least you say good stuff. Thank you. Thanks again for doing this. Sorry, I know it's last minute.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah,
Once I calm down.
That's, it's always like that. And we always feel, or at least I always feel bad. I'm always like, hey, so sorry to bother you. I know that you're a normal person who has a normal life, but.
Well, he's always said yes, so.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like everybody's always said good things, so can't complain. But, well.
So if you was to say it was a cancer, not on the radio now, if you say it was a cannabis consumer, would it be a moderate consumer or a heavy consumer?
I haven't in like a really long
You
time.
actually stopped to come to Kentucky. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
because I just don't know. With our job, I don't know what's allowed and what's not allowed, and our contracts are so.
Let's talk. That is a story in itself. I'm not kidding. You could do a story on it. I could do the talking. You could find out. I'm not kidding. It needs done.
That is it. I mean, because I'm sure a
Well,
lot
they
of
just
other.
stop testing. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that.
Well, because it's because like so for the company I work for is gray, like overall,
Oh,
so,
really?
yeah, so even though, say I worked in Colorado, you still, I don't think you're allowed to,
Okay.
because of,
They're based.
because of their, I don't know where they're based, but whatever their company-wide thing is, since it's not legal in every state, it's not legal, or it's not allowed in anybody's contract.
You know, I heard the opposite of that from a different company.
Really?
It was, I'm just gonna
No,
say
yeah,
this
that's-
name,
mhm.
to use a name. Let's say it was, Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon's based out.
That's right.
Amazon's
Yeah,
based out of California. So their
It would
headquarters
be
is
allowed,
legal,
yeah.
but a Kentucky employee got fired because they had cannabis in their system. Like, no.
I
If
thought,
it's
yeah,
allowed
it's all there,
headquarters,
yeah.
I'm allowed. And they got your job. Now, the Toyota part, nobody knew that, and they actually did that almost 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And nobody knows that, but that is a literal conversation Kentucky has to have because people are scared.
Just to
talk
go, yeah,
to
because you
you.
don't know, you literally
I was
don't.
actually gonna start a business doing that, but nobody will do
Nobody,
it.
yeah, well, because everybody's like, oh, I'm not sure, so.
Yeah, but I would be the one to start that,
That's a good
conversation with human
conversation, yeah.
resources. We
I think
need
it's
to
a good
address this
conversation to have.
statewide. I would love to spokesperson that.
That's a good, okay. Well, hey, now we got the idea, so that works. Well, thank you again.
Here, get my card too.
Oh,
I'll get
yes.
more for you.
Thank you.
What's up? Do you want gummy or anything?
No, I'm okay.
I mean,
It's all right.
if you got anxiety or actual pain, come back, I can do it.
Okay,
And we actually got
Works for me.
CBD isolate that's like THC free.
okay. Well, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, okay, man, thank you. I said, and fake feet, if you gotta take a beat test. Woo! My dad said I was coming to work this morning, apparently that was why. That was awesome.
You had to do that before she got here.
Damn, I even sounded like I knew what I was talking about. I really did, I got impressed with it. All I put in is the Delta 8 stuff, and me saying not all regulations are bad.